Clear skies, adventurers! In this video, we are going to take a look at a Shadowcaster Rogue build for the game Solasta Crown of the Magister. Let's get right into it! For the ancestry, we are going to take high health. They get +2 to dexterity, +1 to intelligence, and they can choose a wizard cantrip. Additionally, dark vision, keen senses, and trance are all nice features to have. For the background, we are going to take Academic. It will give us proficiency with the skills Arcana, Nature, and Insight. Arcana is useful to identify which spells your enemies are casting, helping you decide if you should use counterspell. It will also allow you to craft potions, magic items, and scrolls, and with Nature you will be able to craft poisons. This background also gives the feature Runaway Antiquarian, which is really good in the Crown of the Magister campaign because it gives 15 points with the Antiquarian faction. For the ability scores, we are going to use the point buy system. If you plan on doing a campaign where you can buy a headband of intellect, like the Crown of the Magister campaign for example, then I recommend you leave your intelligence at 9 and raise your strength to 12, your dexterity to 17, your constitution to 14, and your wisdom to 14 as well. If you plan on doing a campaign where you can only find a headband of intellect as a random drop, like the Lost Valley campaign, I suggest that you bring down your strength to 10 and your wisdom to 8 to raise your intelligence score to 16. For the skill proficiencies, I recommend Athletics, Acrobatics, and Stealth. For your last skill proficiency, what you should pick depends on the campaign that you plan on doing. For example, Sleight of Hand can be used in the Lost Valley and in the Palace of Ice campaigns, but not in the Crown of the Magister campaign. For the class Expertise, I suggest Stealth and Perception. For your high health cantrip, I recommend Firebolt because it is often the most suitable cantrip for the level 9 feature Shadow Retribution. With Shadow Retribution, if you are targeted by a damaging spell, you can use your reaction to cast a cantrip on the caster. At level 4, we are going to take the bonus feat Uncanny Accuracy. With this feat, you ignore half and 3/4 cover with your ranged attacks. It will also increase our dexterity by 1 point, bringing it to 18. For the level 6, we gain expertise in 2 more skills. I recommend Acrobatics and Arcana. At level 8, we are going to increase our dexterity by 2 points, bringing it to 20. For the level 10, we are going to take the bonus feat Raise Shield to be able to use a shield. Also, with this feat, when you are about to get hit by a ranged attack while wielding a shield, you can use your reaction to get +3 AC until the end of the attacker's turn. At level 12, we are going to take the bonus feat Cloak and Dagger. With this feat, when you hit an enemy with a light weapon, you gain +2 AC until the start of your next turn. And for the level 16, we are going to take the bonus feat Armor Master to get +1 to our armor class. I will now go over some of the most useful spells for the Shadowcaster by spell levels. For the cantrips, I recommend Annoying Bee, Chill Touch, and Shadow Dagger. For the level 1 spells, I recommend False Life, Identify, Mage Armor but only before you find a decent armor, Protect versus Evil and Good, and Shield. For the level 2 spells, I recommend Blindness, Blur, and Invisibility. For the level 3 spells, I recommend Bestow Curse, Counterspell, Hypnotic Pattern, Protection from Energy, and Vampiric Touch. With this build, there's many different weapon configurations that are useful depending on the situation. This means that you will often have to open your inventory during combat to switch weapons. With a ranged weapon, you will be able to use your reaction for the feature Shadow Retribution or to cast the spells Shield and Counterspell. Also, while you are far away from your enemies, it is easier to remain hidden. If you are detected, you can try to use your bonus action to go back into hiding. With the shield in your offhand and no weapon in your main hand, you will also be able to use your reaction for the feature Shadow Retribution or to cast the spells Shield and Counterspell. I recommend that you switch to this configuration at the end of your turn if possible. Doing so will give you more armor class 1 round out of 2. With a light weapon in your main hand and nothing in your offhand, just like the 2 previous configurations, you will be able to use your reaction for the feature Shadow Retribution or to cast the spells Shield and Counterspell. With a light weapon in your main hand and a shield in your offhand, you will not be able to use your reaction for the features Shadow Retribution or to cast the spells Shield and Counterspell. However, you can use your reaction to protect yourself with the feature Raise Shield. You should try to avoid this weapon configuration when you are facing spellcasters. With a light weapon in each hand, you will also not be able to use your reaction for the features Shadow Retribution or to cast the spells Shield and Counterspell. I sometimes put a light weapon in my offhand when I wasn't able to trigger sneak attack this turn, or when I think I can finish off an enemy with 1 more attack. Still, I would advise caution when doing this because it will leave you with a low AC for 1 round. You should also try to avoid this weapon configuration when you are facing spellcasters. That's it for this video. Stay in the light, friends.